Hell yeah.
How you doing, Lisa? You are live right now on the Zach Moonshine Show.
Woo-hoo, right on. Been looking forward to this, man.
Fuck yeah. So tell us what the fuck is going on in the world of White Crone right now.
Well, my name is Lisa Mann. I'm a blues artist by trade. That's what I do for a living. And, of course, all the gigs got canceled. Man, there's not much we can do to perform live. But I got this crazy idea based on my years and years of being a metalhead as a teenager and then some to write and produce a heavy metal album. And so I did. And it's called The Poisoner. And thank you for playing. That was a title track right there. So, I played all the instruments except for the drums and sang. And so it's not really a band. It's more of a recording project because there's only one of me.
Yeah, I got to ask you about that. I mean, listening to it, first time I listened to it, I didn't even cross my mind that this was a one-woman band. And then after I read the promo and the information and everything, I was like, fuck, man. That's fucking crazy. How tell us. You got to tell us, like, how did you put all that together?
Well, I have been recording, self-producing my own blues CDs for many years. So, releasing them on my own. And usually, I hire my bandmates or I have special guests come in and play the other instruments. I'm a bass player. I play bass guitar and I sing. And but for this project, I did a lot of pre-production at home. So I was writing. So it was during the composition process that I started really learning how to play guitar. And I thought, why don't I just teach myself how to play guitar and then just record the parts? And the recording engineer, Kevin Hahn, over at Opal Studio here in Portland, he said he thought that was a good idea. So, aside from, I got some great solos from Mehdi Farjami, formerly of Glacier. He put a couple of great solos on there, but for the most part, it's just me stabbing away furiously for nothing at the guitar.
Hell yeah. Well, stabbing indeed. Yeah, man, it's badass. Like, and your voice is fucking soaring on some of these tracks, man. It's fucking, it's insane. I love it.
Thank you very much. And I really wanted to channel my heroes. Growing up, my heroes were Bruce Dickinson, King Diamond,
yes.
And Eric Adams, but also mainly Ronnie James Dio, and this is his birthday today. So R.I.P. RJD, Ronnie James Dio. You will never be forgotten, and he will never stop inspiring me, man.
Oh my God, that's today?
I think that's today, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's fucking
I think so. Yeah.
I know I saw some posts on social media going around about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure which day it was, but that's fucking cool, man. Hell yeah. We'll have to play some Dio later on in the show.
Right on, man.
Yeah, Ronnie James Dio was fucking awesome. I got to see him live one time with Heaven and Hell whenever they were doing the little reunion thing that they did.
Yeah, that was with Vinny Appice.
Yes.
So most of the tracks on The Poisoner, there's a drummer in Oregon. His name is Larry London, and it's spelled like the city in England, Larry London, and he's just a phenomenal drummer. He's like the Mike Portnoy of Oregon, and he did most of the drums, but I also had a special guest, Vinny Appice, on a particularly doomy kind of track, because nobody could play like slow and heavy, all that stuff that he did with Dio and Sabbath. It was just, man, heavy duty. Yeah.
Which song did he play on?
Under Hag Stones. It's kind of slow doomy. It's about zombies, So, and that's this really slow beat. And see, I had hired Vinny to play on a blues CD, oddly enough. I had written a song, And, I've got heavy metal roots, so I wrote this blues rock song that has a lot of like slide guitar on it, or resonator guitar on it. That was Ben Rice was on that. And I just kept hearing Vinny Appice in my head, and I thought, well, why don't you just ask him? So I kind of tracked him down, and I just asked him, hey, I wrote this song, and I sent him a similar song and said, would you want to play on my record? And he said, sure. So, hey, that's what, tell the listeners, man, take a chance. It never hurts to ask, because the only thing that can happen, somebody can say no. You never know when somebody might say yes.
Yeah.
It just might be your hero. He was like my favorite drummer growing up, man.
Oh yeah. He's fucking badass, man. Like he's definitely one of those drummers that has his own sound. Like it's
yes.
You can tell, and yeah. I mean, I love Bill Ward with Sabbath, but Vinny, when he came in, it was a perfect for somebody to fill shoes that big. I think he did a great job.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I had a great crew, that helped me finish these songs. Like I said, I did most of the guitar tracks, but I'm still a pretty crappy guitar player. So we did a lot of punching in, I'll be honest about that. We did a few takes of everything, but I got it down. And like I said, Mehdi Farjami, he is on, I did a cover of a Venom song, Seven Gates of Hell, and I just really wanted this cool, like, Middle Eastern kind of thing in there, and so he laid down this just badass solo. And another guest, I had this guy named Catone Lyles. He's a percussionist, and he can really do these African drums. So I got this one song that's kind of a Middle Eastern, but like a North African feel. So I had him come in and do some drums. So yeah, I did everything that I could, and then what I couldn't, I said, hey, y'all help me out,
Hell yeah. So, well, tell us about your roots, growing up, getting into music and starting out. Like, how did it all happen for you?
Well, I was just always fascinated by bass and by bass guitar. And so when I was a little kid, my mom had this old acoustic guitar, and I would pluck out these bass lines. I was really into Deep Purple, that Machine Head record. So like the first song I ever learned how to play was Space Truckin', and I learned it on my mom's acoustic guitar, and I learned a bunch of other Cream and Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And then finally I was like, I gotta buy a bass guitar. So I saw this one at a pawn shop. It was looked like a violin, kind of like the Beatle bass. It was a copy of the Beatle bass. And so I put $10 down on that, and I walked home every day from school in 7th grade, and I saved up my lunch money so I could buy that bass. And I played all this stuff. I'm playing Cream and Led Zeppelin, all this stuff. And but then one day a friend of mine gave me Iron Maiden Killers, and that was it, man. That just changed my life, and I just ate that album for breakfast, and I was playing along with it and singing along with it, and then pretty soon I'm just getting every Iron Maiden album I can get my hands on. I got into Merciful Fate, I got into Venom, I got into Celtic Frost, I got into Manowar, Judas Priest. I was just eating up the metal stuff. And then when I was 16, I was in a band called Dead Conspiracy briefly, and we did a few gigs at a local shithole called the Satyricon. It was kind of like the CBGBs of Portland, And they say if you have ever stepped foot in the Satyricon bathroom, that you are now immune to the COVID. So, and then I became a bass player for a living, and that meant I was doing top 40 and whatever's on a radio at the time, because I just wanted to play my bass and sing, man. So if I wanted a gig, that's what I did. Eventually, I fell into blues music, and I really found my home there, because all those bass lines that I was playing was Roger Glover and John Paul Jones and stuff like that from Led Zeppelin. It was like, oh, yeah, that came from blues, man. And Black Sabbath was like, okay, I get it. And I really found a home in blues music. And, I always like to say to people, if it weren't for blues music, there would be no Black Sabbath, and that means there would be no heavy metal. So, horns up to the blues.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, like all that early stuff from Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Deep Purple, all those guys, man, they were all borrowing, and using stuff from the blues. Well,
Right.
yeah, for sure, man. Well, as far as the world right now, what's your take on everything that's going on? Like,
It's a mess, I'm a musician. I want to get back to work, and I don't want to get political or anything, but I'm looking with green eyes at people in other parts of the world that are working because they did what it took to make that happen. And there's a lot of people out here in America that aren't willing to do what we need to do to get shit rolling again. And I really wish people wouldn't fall for these conspiracy theories and, you'll die if you wear a mask, you'll pass out. It's like, come on, you guys, let's just do what we got to do. Wear the mask, social distance, all that shit so we can get back to work. That's what it is, man. I just want to play. I'm also working with a band called Splintered Throne, and they've I've joined them as their singer. They've got a great bass player, and we're working on some new tunes. So, in a way it's been good because, a lot of us are, at least for me, I'm able to spend a lot of time at home and write lyrics and also promote stuff, whatever. But we want to get out there and play, So I just hope that people will just get with the program. The virus is out there. We're going to have to fucking learn how to live with it. And so let's just do whatever it is we need to do, whatever, guidelines, the CDC, health professionals, whatever they say that we should do, let's do it.
I know, man. I know. I'm always telling people, I'm like, fuck, man. If Slipknot and fucking Ghost can fucking stand up there for hours on stage wearing a fucking mask in the fucking heat and still put on a killer fucking show, you can fucking go to work or go in the grocery store for a few minutes and wear it. Do what you got to do.
Yeah. Oh, and Ghost, by the way, I'm an unabashed and unapologetic Ghost fan. And I got to say, I was inspired by Ghost to write this CD.
Nice.
Because when I discovered Ghost, it was when they came out with Meliora. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. You mean you could just do whatever you want? What a concept. Tobias gives no fucks. He was like disco or power pop or whatever. Yeah. He's mixing all his stuff together. He don't care.
No.
So why should I care? Why should I feel like I have to, I can only play blues. I can only produce blues albums. So what the fuck? I said, let's do this. I'm going to do this.
And it's satanic too, which is even cooler. Like we went and saw him. We saw them live on the last tour. It was fucking amazing. It was such a good show.
Oh man! And now he's doing everything with a live band. Because they used to do. I saw them when they were doing the backup tracks. I've seen them like 9 times or something. My friend Lisa and I, we're Lisa and Lisa, and we go to metal shows together. And so now he's got this whole band, and they worked out all the parts, and they don't have, they have a few tracks, but for the most part, they're live. And man, they put on a hell of a show. They do like an intermission. It's like going a night at the theater or something, man. Love Ghost.
Yeah.
They bring it.
We were right on the front row in this really cool theater in Memphis. And it was fucking awesome. I remember that they did saxophone solos, they did a keyboard solo, they did the guitar solos, and he played with the crowd, jokes and stuff like that. Just really good showman. I mean, it was really a fun time, and it was just and the audience too. I think the audience was one of the things that really I noticed about it that. The audience was really involved, kind of like at an Iron Maiden concert or some of these other bigger bands that have been around for a long time, where they have this really strong fan base, but they're a young band, so it was pretty impressive. It was really cool. It's cool to be a part of.
Yeah, I love it when you go to a Maiden show and everybody's whoa, whoa, everybody's singing along.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, I got some questions for you coming in from the listeners. Let me see here. Vicky wants to know, who would you love to play alongside with if you had the chance to play with anybody?
Wow.
Alive or dead?
That's really tough. Alive or dead? Alive or dead?
I added that.
Wow, jeez. I've never had a chance to actually play a gig. I've just worked remotely with Vinny Appice. So that would be great to do a gig with Vinny on drums. Live. That because the thing about bass players, we love to groove with a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be cool and then when you first groove with the drummer, the first song or two, you're kind of feeling each other out. You're kind of okay, where are you at? And I'm trying to get inside your bass drum, and you just check each other out. I would love that. I love that feeling of checking out a new drummer that you've never played with before. But I've heard him for so many years, I'd be like, okay, I get it. That would be cool. Yeah, I'd love to do just a live thing with Vinny.
Hell yeah, that would be awesome. I could see that, and I can hear it in my head too. It'd be really loud and heavy.
You gotta lay back, man. You gotta wait for it. He's laid back.
Speaking of bass and drums, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but what's your opinion on Jason Newsted with the And Justice for All album? I know there's a big controversy about that, about the bass line being really low in the mix.
It's not just the idea of the bass being quiet in the mix. It is this idea in too much of metal of the bass being like the thickener. It's just cornstarch in the music. It's just doubling the guitar part, and it just serves to fatten it up. But it doesn't even do that on Justice for All. Don't get me wrong, it's still a kick-ass album.
Yeah.
But it's if I want to listen to a song with no bass player, I'll go listen to some Jimmy Reed. I'll go listen to some of that blues or something. I want to hear some bass guitar. That's why I love Rush, Iron Maiden, and Manowar, and all that stuff, where Merciful Fate, where they have bass lines that do something different than the guitar. It's there's so much more room to move. So that's kind of been disappointing to me about a lot of metal music. And that's one of the things I was trying to make a statement about with my album, The Poisoner, is bass guitar matters. Sometimes you just go along with the guitar, but sometimes it's got to have its own thing. So, he wasn't given a chance to really speak with his voice as a musician on that album. And it would have been great to hear if he'd been allowed to do his thing,
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of a shame.
For sure. Well, I mean, he did shine on the live record, and then of course the next album, the Black Album. I mean, fuck, he definitely got his spotlight on that. But growing up, when I was young and I first heard that album, I didn't even think anything about it, to be honest with you. I didn't even notice. But looking back, of course, nowadays with everybody analyzing everything and bringing attention to it, you start to notice, and I started to listen closer.
If something kicks ass enough, you're willing to overlook some big shit.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of bass, though, listening to your songs, I can definitely say one of the first names that popped out in my head when I was first listening to it was Steve Harris. I totally hear some influence from Iron Maiden and some of those bass lines.
Oh, a lot of influence, man, because like I said, when I was a kid, just learning to play the bass, this friend of mine was like, oh, you're going to like this, and handed me this Killers album. And I just started playing along with the whole thing. I learned the whole thing front to back. I got all the other albums, that were in the 80s at least anyway. And I just learned to play them all. I just played them all. And I would sit there, and I can't do it today. I'm older now, and that should wear me out. I don't think I could sit there and play 4 Iron Maiden albums in a row. But when I was a teenager, I was pretty indestructible, man. Gilla 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 boom 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 gilla 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 gilla. That's how I spent my days. That's what I did with my afternoons. Chow down on some Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I love Iron Maiden, and that was a big part of my coming into metal as well. I actually got to talk to Paul Di'Anno earlier this year on the show, and that was mind-blowing.
Sweet.
Yeah, really cool dude, too.
Right on. Right on.
But I like Bruce Dickinson, too. Like nothing against him. They're all great.
Yeah, it's just different. It's just very different. I mean, Bruce is he's like my main hero. As far as his range is where my range is. Dio's range is too high for me, oddly enough. So my range is like, bam, right in Bruce. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as a vocalist, But Di'Anno, man, yeah, he just had these cool phrases and these little tricks and wow, stuff like that,
Yeah, I was watching the making of Number of the Beast. I think it's a Classic Albums DVD or something, where they're in the studio talking about the making of that record, and Bruce Dickinson was saying that scream that he does when the song kicks in, where he's like, yeah! He said that he had to do it 5 million times or something crazy, and he was so pissed off by that point because the producer kept telling him to redo it, and that whenever he was the producer was giving him the thumbs up or something, that was the right one, he just let out that belting fucking scream, and then that was the one that they ended up using.
That's the most insane scream ever. I can't do that stuff. So there's some things I can do, and there's some things that I can't do. I can't do that screaming stuff. I can't do the growling vocals and stuff like that. I just like to sing, man. I just like to sing. And that's what I love about Bruce. Mostly he's just singing.
Well, you definitely have a style of your own, and I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Lisa, I got another question for you from the listeners. Vicky wants to know, have you ever thought about playing in Canada?
Oh, I would love to. I've done some blues gigs in Canada. I've done some blues gigs in BC. But, like I said, White Crone is a recording project. Who knows if I'll ever hire a band, and have a band go out. But, like I said, I've joined this existing band called Splintered Throne. Very Judas Priest kind of a band.
Nice.
And we're writing all these songs, and I'm telling you, man, these songs are going to kick everybody's ass. These songs are coming together. Jason Moser, he's been writing most of the material, and it's just fucking great. I really enjoy it. I've been really enjoying it. I think audiences are going to enjoy it, and that's why I'm hoping someday we can go on tour and have human beings in the audience. But for now, we've got a video that we put out that was just, we did the split screen thing. We all just recorded our own videos. So we put that out of an existing song, Nature's Design. And, we'll probably release a single sometime this year. But yeah, we just all have to bide our time. So Vicky, yeah, I hope so. I hope sooner than later too.
Well, I'm getting excited for that. You definitely have to send me a link to that so I can check that out.
I will, man. I will.
Another question. Well, I guess you kind of already answered that. She was going to ask, are you going to continue making metal music?
I am. I have a blues EP coming out. It's like an Americana. It's very different than this, that's for sure. It's very Americana blues. 5-song EP as Lisa Mann. That's coming out in September. But no, I'm working with Splintered Throne, but I also have a few songs that are brewing for another White Crone album. So that's kind of going to go, on the back burner a little more, because I really want to dedicate some time to this new Splintered Throne record. But there's songs that are in my Samplitude program, and I have, bass lines and vocal parts and lyrics. So there's some brewing in my cauldron.
Hell yeah. Well, send us some of that blues stuff too, man. We love to play that too.
Right on. I got just the song in mind too. I'll send you the one with Vinny Appice and Ben Rice on there.
Fuck yeah.
It's greasy. Blues rock.
Another question, what's one of the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a gig?
Craziest thing that's ever happened to me at a gig. Oh, I've had some crazy shit happen at gigs. Well, there was this one gig up in northern Washington, and we were just loading. The band was still loading into the club. It was like a 7-night residency. And before we even finished loading in, 3 people had asked us if we wanted to buy some meth. And we're like, oh my God, what kind of place is this that we're playing? Oh my God. And so halfway, or it's like after the first set, this family comes in with a little person in the family. It's very small, dwarf. She was tough, man. She was wearing like toddler clothes. So she had like a blue jean jacket with like little unicorns on it and shit. But she was obviously like, probably 23 years old or something. And she was smoking and drinking. And she was swearing and fuck this and fuck that and fuck you. And she's smoking and drinking. And they're all drinking and everybody's drinking. And pretty soon they're all out on the dance floor. This whole family, they're all out and they're whooping and hollering and having a good time. And they pick her up and they throw her back and forth to each other like a football on the dance floor. And so that is probably the strangest thing that's ever happened at one of my gigs.
That sounds fucking crazy, man. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it was. They were having a ball, man. But it was like, okay, the people talk about dwarf tossing as a sport, and they were actually doing that.
It's really a thing.
At our gig. She was awesome. Loved her. I've seen people brush their teeth on the dance floor. I've seen people. It's just
brush their teeth.
People fighting. Seen a lot of people fighting. Yeah, this lady's like brushing her teeth. She's got her toothbrush. She's got her tube of tooth. She's rocking around on the dance floor, brushing her teeth. I just seen some crazy people like trying to have sex on the dance floor, and just, I've seen blood all over you have to step over the blood just to get a drink, But the band, you got to keep playing, man. You keep playing, because if you stop, then everybody turns around and goes, I'm in. And the fists really start flying. So I don't play those kind of clubs anymore. I play a little more sedate clubs now. But yeah, back in my day, I've seen some crazy shit.
Right on. Another question for you. Bad Wizard wants to know, who are your blues influences and who's your favorite blues player?
Oh, wow, man. Yeah, I really love Jimmy Reed's songwriting, and I really love Little Milton and Etta James, Coco Taylor. On my new EP, I'm covering a Sister Rosetta Tharpe song. And of course, B.B. King, Bonnie Raitt is a big influence on my particular style blues. But also, there were a lot of blues artists, and still are, in the Portland area that influenced me personally. So Linda Hornbuckle was a singer who sadly passed away. And she really influenced me, even though she's gone. Paul DeLay was a harmonica player, and working with him really influenced me. So a lot of it is the people that I jam with and the people that I know. My friend Sunny Hess, she writes her own tunes, and she taught me how to lead a gaggle of green musicians at any given time. So the people around me more than anything, because we got a great blues scene in Portland, Oregon. It's colossal, really colossal. So but also the greats, B.B. King, Little Milton, Etta James. Yeah, love them.
Hell yeah. Another question from the listeners. Vicky wants to know, what do you prefer, bubble baths or showers?
Yeah, I don't have a bathtub. So, gotta have showers. Bubble baths take too long anyway. I got shit to do, man.
Who's got time for that shit, right?
I got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, so what's coming up next for you guys? Like, you said you've got this other project that's fixing to come out.
That's right. That's what I've been working on. Splintered Throne. Check them out. The Brian Garrison was their singer before. A really excellent singer. He's like Rob Halford meets Michael Sweet. Just had this real sweetness to his voice. And so, those are big shoes to step in, but we're kind of taking a new direction musically, and it's got some power metal influences, and I think people are really going to dig it. So I'm doing that, but I'm also, I got time at home, and I got my recording program, and I got ideas squeezing out of my head. So I'm hoping to create, I intend to create another White Crone CD. Actually might be a little more theatrical. I really am into the storytelling thing, so might be a little more power metal and more theatrical, and
like King Diamond.
Oh God, I love King Diamond, all that stuff. Yeah, that's why I love storytelling. That's where I get all that storytelling ideas from. Is from Rush. Did that too. I was a big Rush fan. But King Diamond, these spooky stories, hell yeah, man.
Another question, where do you see yourself and your music in about 4 years from now?
I just can't. I don't really go there. If
So
you'd have told me 4 years ago that I would be talking to you about my heavy metal album, I would have thought you were crazy. So I really don't know. All I know is I will be producing music. I have to. It's in my bones. I know how to do it. I don't really know how to do much else. I'm a really shitty pool player, for one thing. I have some skills, and my skills are producing full-length albums. That's what I've been doing for a long time, and this time happens to be the metal album. So I will be still producing music.
Well, you gotta you gotta do what makes you happy,
Mm-hmm. And I make just enough of a living doing it that I'm able to continue. So it's kind of nice. That's why I ask people, please add White Crone, Crone. White Crone, add me on your Spotify, please. Add The Poisoner on your Spotify. That really helps. It really does. Follow me on Bandcamp. Say hi to me on Twitter. Man, Metal Twitter is the shit, man. I've met some cool people on Metal Twitter, that's for sure. So, I'll follow my socials. I'm easy to find. Google White Crone. I really appreciate that. It really helps. It really helps me get my 0.0018 cents per stream.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It helps me get my 0.0018 cents per stream if you add me on your Spotify.
Well, speaking of that, I know Bandcamp's been doing some really cool shit lately where there's been a lot of Fridays where they just sporadically been doing these no fees thing, where they don't take out anything and the artist gets to take everything if you support them during that time. So I don't know, I'm not sure when the next time that they do that, but for sure people.
I think it's first Friday. I think it's the first Friday of every month they're doing that.
Oh,
so I love me some Bandcamp Friday. I got some new T-shirts up and put them up there, and people downloaded the album. And yeah, this last Bandcamp Friday was good, and I got myself some music. I got some Solicitor.
Yes, Solicitor is badass.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can send some more folks to your Bandcamp this next go around too.
Yeah. Come to my Bandcamp, whitecrone.bandcamp.com. Yeah, I'm so glad for that platform, that's for sure. Yeah, I just got some T-shirts made, and so sent some of those out. I got patches. I got guitar. But I don't have a whole ton of, some people have like underwear and lube and whatever. I don't have all that stuff. If you want to buy a CD, I really recommend that people purchase the compact disc, because when you listen to something digital, if there's any intros that are named as a different song, you know that tune Dreamer Deceiver on Sad Wings of Destiny, that Judas Priest, when you listen and he's like, they come to this big crescendo and he sings this real high note and the guitar starts, but then you're listening to digital, so it all just stops for a second. And then it starts back over again. Oh, man, what a letdown. It's like coitus interruptus. When you have the CD, when you have the Poisoner CD, you will hear all the songs as they were intended to be heard, at the highest quality, and with the intros running together, the songs that are supposed to run together, they do. So I just encourage people to buy CDs, and we artists, man, we just really appreciate that kind of support. Man, I really appreciate you having me on today. I really appreciate that support, man, because it's like if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody to listen, if we're making CDs and playing tunes and nobody listens, where would we be? So thank you for having me on today, man.
No problem. Anytime. Speaking of selling stuff on Bandcamp, I know, I don't know, it was just a while ago, one of those Fridays when they were doing that, Sarah from Smolder was sharing something on Facebook about some band that was actually selling they were selling armpit hair on Bandcamp. I saw it and I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And I clicked on it because I was curious. And when I got there, it said sold out. And I just fucking fell out. I fell out laughing. I was like, oh my God, really?
Hey, check back in 3 months. I'm sure they'll grow some more.
That's fucking crazy, man. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do, and especially right now in these times, like, what the fuck are artists supposed to do, if you can't play live? Because I know that playing live for a lot of bands is where the money's at.
Yeah. Yep. It's hard to tour and sell, sell merch. And, like I said, I've got a blues EP coming out pretty soon, and that's just going to be an online thing. So, but what's interesting, it's like a silver lining is, now I'm talking to you, we're reaching out to everybody who's listening all around the world. I've been doing some live streaming on Facebook, and I've got people from England that are tuning in. I got a friend who lives in Cambodia who dials in. So the fact I'm doing these shows online, it's like, the sky's the limit. It's pretty interesting. I'm actually getting back in touch with like my UK fan base, because I used to tour over there, once a year, and so it's actually been kind of beneficial to stay in touch with people online. So if that's how we got to do it for a while, then that's just how it goes.
Oh yeah. Got another question for you. Thunderous wants to know, who in the world would you want to guest play on an album if you could get anybody.
Hey, Thunderous! You're awesome. That's great. I'm glad you're tuning in. Anybody? Well, somebody asked me this a while back, and I really love Tony McAlpine's guitar playing. Just so tasteful and thoughtful and thought out. So it'd be great to have him as a guest on an album. That would be great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, well, Lisa, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let your fans know?
Well, I just want you to know that I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. And thank you. Thank you all for following me on social media. I mean, it's a tiny little thing. Check out the Poisoner video on YouTube. Give that a listen. Subscribe to my YouTube. Subscribe, add me to your Spotify playlists. Those little things, man, they really add up for an artist. It might not seem like much, but it really does. It really does help, and we really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Fuck yeah. Before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag?
Yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Lisa from White Crone, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
This is Lisa Mann, also known as White Crone. You're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah. Right.
Is that okay? Did I pin it out?
That was perfect.
I didn't distort.
No, that was perfect. Do you want to do one like in screaming voice?
I can't scream. I can do like King Diamond. No.
Yeah.
Metal Devastation Radio.
That was awesome. I'm gonna make a sound bite of that for sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, Lisa, thanks a lot for taking the time and to talk to us. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna blast some more White Crone for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy. All right.
Right on. Thank you so much, dude.
Hell yeah. Anytime.
All right.
We'll talk to you.
You have a wonderful evening, man.
You too, Lisa. Thanks a lot.
All right. Later.
There you have it, folks. Lisa Mann live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking Radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your fucking windows, put them in your front lawns, put them wherever the fuck you can. Make your neighbors fucking uncomfortable, make them fucking mad, make them fucking headbang, man. If you don't fucking see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, you need a new fucking stereo system. Seriously, man. Or, I don't know, if it's not that. If you've got a really loud stereo system and it's not pumping right now, or about to get ready to pump loud, dude, just crank it the fuck up. This is 7 Gates of Hell from White Crone.